Saturdays, whoa. Saturdays are for the toys. Clayton's here, and this is Clayton's new to him. Well, he's had it for a while now, but now it's running. 911. Clayton, tell us a little bit about your 911.
Well, this one was in the works. We picked it up last August, I believe, Kayla and I. And it was in the works. I was talking to a guy, a local guy, for about, I'd say, 2 years plus. We're trying to track it down and just trying to meet up with the guy. He was an older gentleman. He had a lot of Mopar stuff. This was his only Porsche. And basically just trying to meet him, to go see it, to maybe make a deal. And anyway, long story short, we ended up picking it up. I have a little bit of footage and a little bit of an explanation of all this anyway from when I did pick it up. So maybe I'll put some of that footage in now, which tells a little bit more of the story.
So when we picked this vehicle up, it was a legitimate barn find. It was in a woodshed for a while, pretty filthy overall, as you can see here, but overall stoked on it. Had to go pick up Dave's trailer in order to go get it because it did sit for a very long time, about 10 years. So did fire up though, drove decent enough to get it around over to Wash Bay area at my work. So it was its first path, which we were stoked on. However, while backing it up into the wash area, it died on me a few times. So the fueling and fuel pump was really loud and just kept cutting out. So wasn't putting too much thought into it yet. Just wanted to get it cleaned up because actually the next day I was heading to Atlanta for a work trip. So just wanted to get it a bit tidied up and get on its way. So overall, fairly decent paint. It's not amazing, but it's a driver, which is great. Unfortunately though, the interior was even more disgusting than the exterior. So mats were just full of wood chips and mouse crap and everything else. The interior was also fairly moldy from sitting in a non-climate controlled area for about a year. But the good news is there was no real rust on the body. Underside's clean, just some general cleaning, looked after this and disinfecting, I should say. So came around pretty good overall. Next up was the fueling. It was full of rust. Fuel filter full of rust, fuel lines, fuel tank had to be replaced. It was just constant dealing with muddy, rusty, gross fuel. So got that addressed, got it out for a drive once it was working fairly decent. Fairly stoked on it. Pictures, had some new emblems, cleaned it up really good. Drove it home for the very first time, and while doing so, unfortunately lost the brakes and also backfired pretty hard through the intake and quit. So now just waiting for a tow truck, unfortunately, but spirits were still pretty high, still overly stoked that we finally got our dream car, I guess. And the worst part was it broke down like 3 seconds from our house. So the issue ended up being a spark issue, and also a sticking caliper, which fried the brakes. So another one of the issues was terrible startup idle, which I found more rust in there. So dealt with all that, did a leak down test on the vehicle as well to get a general health check, smoke tested it, just fixing multiple little issues. So at this point now, it had to get a new ignition control module, wiring that in. But unfortunately, when I got it back up and running, it was a higher idle. So had to try to figure that out. It ended up being, this setup has a shielding wire that comes off the distributor, and I had those two wires switched, which ends up having an issue with high idle. So swapped those out, started running good. Did another smoke test. There is small leaks, but it ended up running enough that I was okay with that and just really wanted to start enjoying the car. So yeah, that's where we're at.
So the reason the car is here now, Clayton, is...
Because you can't leave anything alone.
Can't leave anything alone. He's exactly right by saying that. He picked up some exhaust and stuff like that to put on the car. He's got the car working pretty decent now. He's been driving for the last few weeks pretty steadily. And before he does any mods, obviously we got to check it on the dyno to see what it makes for power.
My biggest point of this is just a little bit of a health check. It feels like it's lacking a little bit, so this will likely give us a starting point to find out if it's strong or not.
Oh yeah, so tell us, get back, yeah. Tell us about the size of the engine.
Yep.
What kind of horsepower they make, like out of the box factory kind of deal.
Okay.
And this thing is, you know, 30 years old, 30 something years old.
It's an 83. It's 41 years old.
Okay, 41
Yeah.
years old. There you go.
So it's a 3-liter flat engine, obviously, since it's a Porsche, air cooled, so not liquid cooled. Although it is oil cooled, so it's kind of a. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Horsepower, I don't know. I forgot to look it up. I think it's
We'll
around.
put it on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's around 200-ish, but
200 crank horsepower from factory?
I think so.
Okay, so
5-speed.
old car like this, 200 crank horsepower. If it makes 165 wheel horsepower, that would be pretty close to what it should make. However, as Clayton said, it's 40 years old. It might make 120 horsepower. We have no idea.
Yep.
And that's kind of the point of this. Before we start chucking parts at it, we want to get an idea of what it makes for power. And like Clayton said, do a little bit of a health check.
Yep.
It's warmed up.
Warmed up.
It's ready to go. So let's do it. Press the middle button in the gray.
So checking down.
Chickened out? Okay. Well, it didn't. The best part is it's up comparing against Greg's dyno sheets, which made 750, and it barely shows on the graph.
That's a little braver.
Yeah, press the middle gray button. Okay, you're making more sense now. That was 135, and horsepower's climbing.
Okay. I still don't think I was gonna pull.
Now that Clayton's getting less afraid, it made it to 142 that time. He revved it out to 5,600-ish, it looks like. First few runs was Clayton just chicken footing it, so we're getting there.
Let's face it too. Full disclosure,
You're scared.
these things aren't cheap to rebuild either. So
Stop it.
if that was a 180, you'd be like, whatever.
What does my shirt say, Clayton?
It's only money.
Okay, so not too bad so far.
Sound pretty good.
Sounds good, yeah. You gotta hit the a little bit more, 143, 154 torque. Okay, so Clayton stopped. The tach shows around 6,000 RPM. You can rev them a little bit higher. It is still making horsepower up at that level. The last run was, what did we say, Clayton? 143 and 154 torque. Quick Googling, it looks like it might be down maybe 10 horsepower. Again, these are old cars. This one's sat for a long time.
Yeah, sat for a long time, granny driven. When I first got it, it was overfilled with oil. I haven't driven it hard. The cats could be clogged. Like there's so much stuff.
So many
valve
things,
adjustments.
but it's not far off. And Clayton got to at least beat on it a little bit more on here than he has on the street. So he's looking forward to taking it back out on the street. It's going to roll off the dyno, Clayton, unless you have an e-brake on.
Yeah, it's in gear.
So now we're going to try to start modifying it and putting some exhaust on it. Maybe put it back on the dyno. We'll see. That probably ain't going to happen today, but we're going to start on it anyways. And we're back.
Hi.
So as things would go with buying used parts, it's been a week since we had this car in the dyno and started to do the exhaust. Of course, there was parts missing. Days and
They weren't missing. They were there. They're just the wrong ones.
The wrong ones, yeah. So the parts that we needed were missing. So days and days went by. We finally got to getting the exhaust completed. You do have a little bit of footage of that, right,
I do,
Clayton?
yeah, I do. So basically,
What do we need?
what happened was the oil line on this car, I'm going to save a bunch of BS and boring stuff, but oil lines in this car, the way they were routed before, wasn't right for this type of exhaust. So I had to buy new oil lines in order to make this exhaust work. But of course, like everything, you're working on old stuff that's been sitting forever, and this is the first time we were working on anything, one, like this, and then two, also working on this car for the first time. So rusty bolts and trying to get to things and finding which wrenches work around what, and it was a bit of work and waiting for parts, of course. But anyway, it's back together and pretty happy.
And it's time to dyno it again. For the most part, the nuts and bolts, everything really went pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, these, I don't know what it is.
The car hasn't really seen much real weather.
No.
Being the car that it is, but most of the bolts and everything came off. We got one side of the headers on and realized that at that point that the oil line wasn't going to work.
Yep.
So we had to kind of push it aside, wait for the parts to come in, and then finish it up. So that's all done. The car's warmed up. What did we make last time?
143, I think.
143 is the peak. Let's see if it makes any more power. You ready for this?
I am.
Okay. It made more, a little bit.
That's not very
Didn't
much.
rev it out as far. It made a lot more mid-range.
Man, I definitely revved it out past.
Oops, I got zoomed in. What's that?
I definitely revved it out past, like, it was to 6,000.
6,000 says you went to 55.
I don't know, man.
Round two?
Round two.
You revved it out further that time. That was the furthest yet. You make more power again, Clayton.
Big power.
Big power. Yeah,
Woo!
there you go. In the 50s, yeah! 152.
And there we have it. So that was the first, well, one of the first, the highest horsepower from the first run, 143 and 157 torque. And obviously being NA, we're not going to see huge gains anyway, a little bit less than what I was thinking, 152 and 169. However, the good gains are in the mid-range, or actually sort of kind of all over, but the biggest ones are kind of in the mid-range. So I think we picked up almost 15, well, in some spots 15 horsepower, 10 to 15, and then almost 20 torque in some areas as well. So if you look, yeah, here, 20 torque. So overall, quite happy with that. And also the other part of this that kind of got me amped on things is that I'm driving the car a lot harder than I would have before, because I definitely wasn't revving it out anything past probably like 45, yeah, like 4,500, because it's
Were
scary.
you driving the car? Have you driven the car hard since the exhaust was
Yeah,
put on?
definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you notice it, or were you driving it this hard?
I don't know if I was driving it this hard, but I was driving it pretty hard, like a lot harder than what I would before. So yeah, I noticed a bit of a difference.
So yeah, big gains all around. Horsepower all the way out. Torque, real big torque in the mid-range. Again, this is on pump gas, 91 octane, as always around here. Worth it?
Everything's a lot of money for these. So.
Yeah.
But like Dave was saying earlier to me, anything NA, any of the NA guys, you got to spend money in order to make any horsepower. So
we get it in a turboed world, which is obviously usually what I'm dealing with here. The guys that are building cars nowadays, you guys have it very, very easy because even a few $100 tune can make 50 to 80 horsepower, very simple, and plus 100 torque. It's very, very easy to do. I think on my GTI, which is a Mark 6, the all-wheel drive converted one, that car gained 50 wheel horsepower and 100 wheel torque.
Just off the tune.
Just the software. So to get this kind of power on an NA application, a lot of guys, you know, you got to pay to get that kind of power with it. Turbos, that's why everything's turbocharged nowadays.
Yeah.
But good gains.
Yep.
The good thing is Clayton's able to, he feels a little more comfortable beating on it because I know he wasn't doing that before. So now it's more of a little race car to him. What's next, Clayton?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Don't know?
I think valve adjustment, because it still seems to be a little bit down in power. So probably do a valve adjustment. Besides that, just try to drive it and enjoy it. And then, wheels, yeah. Yeah, maybe some wheels.
I keep telling him to spend some money on some wheels.
I have a couple
some good wheels.
I have a couple sets of wheels, but.
So, what else? Anything else?
I got to finish Kayla's car, and then.
Oh, yeah. Don't ask about that.
Yeah, don't. It's a touchy subject, but finish Kayla's car, and then we'll get working on this. So.
Okay, well, that's it for this one. What was the exhaust again? I know you said it in the middle of the video.
It's a Danky muffler, and
Danky.
so it's a two. It's a 2-in-1 muffler, or sorry, a 2-in muffler, 1 out. There is 2 in, 2 out as well. This is a 2-in, 1 out, and the headers are called SSIs. I don't know if that's
and this is what kind of power you get.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for this video. If you guys have any questions or comments about Clayton's 911 or any of the other cars on our channel, ask below. Clayton, am I forgetting anything?
I don't know. Are you forgetting anything?
You tell me.
I'm supposed to ask you. Dave, are we forgetting anything?
I don't think we are.
All right.
See you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.